Hey, sweet 7th graders. Miss Vitale here, coming to you from the camper. So, if you've watched the history video yet, maybe you haven't, I talk about the camper. You know, you guys know this is my office now, and that this is where I do things to try to hide from the kids so I can be focused and try to help you guys learn and understand things. So I've got to thinking about it. So, you know, Miss Frizzle has the magic school bus, and we have the magic camper. That's what Miss Vitale has, the magic camper. So we'll have to, some of you guys that are good with technology and stuff can come up with a theme song for me for my camper, my magic camper, kind of like Miss Frizzle's magic school bus. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a lesson. This is an optional lesson in the book. It's probability of compound events. That means more than one thing happening. So far what we've been talking about are single events, simple events, things, events that require just a single calculation of probability. A compound event is an event that consists of two or more simple events. Okay, so this is all on page 242 of your workbook, your work text. So Maria Miller outlines all of this in the instructions and in the teaching part of the lesson. So if the outcome of one event doesn't affect the outcome of the next event, then these two events are called independent events. So examples of this would be, what are the chances that you would flip a coin twice and get heads, then tails? Each time you're flipping the coin, the probability that you would get heads is 1 out of 2. The probability that you would get tails is 1 out of 2 because there's two sides to the coin. So each of these are independent. It doesn't matter what you got the first time. You're still flipping the same coin the second time. So these events are independent from each other. So you would be able to find the probability of that just by multiplying those two probabilities of the simple events. Okay, so we're going to be multiplying fractions in this lesson. So this is also a good review for you guys about fractions as well and multiplying fractions. So what we'll do when we're attacking these problems is we're going to look at the first event that is being asked about. What I typically do, and kind of a hint for you guys, is I try to underline the two events. I try to underline exactly what the keywords in the question. So if we look down at number 1 on page 242, the question is you're going to toss a coin 3 times. So you guys know we talked earlier today on Zoom about the fact that Julian loves money. So if Julian had his coin purse that he carries around, and he took a quarter out and he was going to flip it 3 times, the first question, 1A, says, what's the probability of getting tails, then heads, then tails? Okay, so he's going to be flipping the coin 3 times. The question is, what's the probability that it would be heads, tails, heads when he flipped it? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is find the probability of each one of these 3 independent events. Okay, and these are independent events because it doesn't matter what he gets, heads or tails, the first time. He still has the same chance or probability of getting something different on the second try. So if he does it the first time and he gets tails, what's that probability? What's the chance that he would get tails on his first toss? How we find this is just like we found simple probability in the lessons previous. There's 2 sides. Tails is on one of the sides. So the probability of the first event is 1/2. Then heads. What's the probability if he flipped a coin he would get heads? Same probability, 1/2. Then tails. Same probability, 1/2. So now we have the 3 simple events, all of which the probability is 1/2 for. Now, all we need to do is multiply those probabilities. So we would take 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Remember, when we're multiplying fractions, we simply multiply the numerator straight across, then multiply the denominator straight across. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So the probability, if we flipped the coin 3 times, of getting heads, tails, tails, heads, tails, is 1/8. Okay? All right. So the next question is, for B, what's the probability that you get heads on your second toss? Okay? Well, it's the same probability whether it's your first toss or your 100th toss. If you toss a coin, it's got 2 sides. Chances of you getting heads is 1 out of 2, or 1/2. Okay? So for 1C, she's asking you to use the tree diagram that's in example 2 on page 242 to get the probability of getting heads twice and tails once in 3 tosses. Okay? So here's the choice. Okay? You have to think, how many different ways can I get the combination heads, heads, tails? How many different ways? Okay? Heads, heads, tails would be 1. Heads, tails, heads would be 2. Tails, heads, heads would be 3. So there's 3 ways that we could possibly get the combination of 2 heads and 1 tails when we flip a coin 3 times. Okay? There's 3 possible ways. Okay? Now, we know that from part A that the probability of getting that combination is 1/8. Okay? It's going to be 1/8 for each of those times, each of those combinations, whether it's heads, tails, heads, 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 tails, or tails, heads, heads. We know that because each probability for that happening is 1/2. Okay? So 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. Remember, when we're adding fractions, like denominator, add the numerator. Okay? 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 is 3/8. So our total chance of getting any of those 3 combinations would be 3/8. Okay? All right. The next problem is going to be working with marbles. Okay? One hint I'm going to give you for this is that there's 9 total marbles. Okay? And each time you take out a marble, you put that marble back before you reselect. Okay? So that'll help you. It'll allow you to, so you're always going to have 9ths on this problem. 9 is always going to be your denominator because you have 9 marbles total always. Okay? All right. If you guys have questions about this unit or about this section, you can FaceTime me, you can text me, you can call me, you can Zoom meeting request me, or if you have Marco Polo, you can video chat me. Okay, my phone number is 434-221-7643. I am more than happy to help you guys. If you choose not to do this probabilities of compounds events lesson for Monday and Tuesday, then this would be a great opportunity for you to either review, because you do have a test at the end of this week, or another option would be go ahead and look at the end of the year test that's included in the book. Go ahead and start working on some of those problems as a review for your end of the year test for the state. Okay? I'll put all that information here in your lesson. It'll be below in ClassReach or in Google Classroom. Okay? I love you guys. You're so smart, and I'm so proud of all the stuff that you guys have been learning. Keep at it, okay? Love you guys. Bye.